Welcome to the Better German podcast. My name is Schilk-Blümel, and I will teach you German and everything around the language, the countries, and the culture. In this episode, we're going to talk about watching German movies or TV shows with subtitles in order to help you learning German. I suggest this to all of my students, or actually it's part of the courses when you are one of my students, to watch movies or shows with subtitles. But you can do that whether or not you're doing a course, and it will help you. And if you do it long enough, you will probably learn German just by doing that, to be honest. I do think you should do some other things, but whatever else you do to learn German, you should definitely watch movies or shows with subtitles. So for this episode, there's a very special freebie. You go to my homepage, to bettergerman.info, and there you will find an interactive German movie guide. So what that is you will find a page where you can look for German movies based on the platform, but also based on the level of difficulty: advanced, beginners, intermediate, upper intermediate, and advanced. And also on categories like, is it comedy or science fiction or documentary? There will be something in there for you. And the most important thing, also by the language of subtitles available. So go to my homepage and get access to the interactive movie guide, and then you will get the most out of this episode. Also, all of the movies that I'm talking about in this episode are, of course, in there. So go there and have fun and enjoy this podcast episode. So let's jump into this episode. The first platform I'm going to talk about where you can find things to watch is actually Amazon. So when you are an Amazon Prime member, which you may or may not be, you also automatically can watch a lot of movies and TV shows on Amazon Prime. But whether or not you are an Amazon Prime member, there are things you can watch and you pay once for watching the movie. There is something I'm going to suggest to you for both of these lists. In any case, Amazon has recently started producing German content, German movies or TV shows, and some of them are very good, and the new ones also always come with subtitles, and I'm thrilled about that. So my favorite tip for Amazon actually is a new movie, and it's called Die Sachertorte. That's my number one tip to watch on Amazon Prime. That's included in Prime. It's an Amazon production. It's called Sachertorte. It's a very cute movie. The location of the filming is like partially Germany, Berlin, I think, and partially it's Austria, which I'm particularly happy about because that's where I'm from. So it's partially filmed in Vienna and it's playing in Vienna. And it's a very nice story. It's not a very deep story. It's a cute story. And that's my favorite tip. Then there is another one, which is not included in Amazon Prime. You have to pay for it, but it's a very nice movie. It's a German movie. It's called Gut gegen Nordwind. It's actually made out of one of the better books of the last few years that were published in German, I think. I haven't read all books that were published, obviously, but this one I read, and it was a very nice movie. And it's called Gut gegen Nordwind. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So Sachertorte, the name of the first movie I mentioned, is the name of a very famous sweet, like a very famous dessert, a cake. It's called Sacher cake. So Sacher is the name of a hotel, and you will see the hotel in this movie quite a lot. And the cake is just a cake that this hotel is famous for. It's a chocolate cake. It's a good cake. You get Sachertorte, by the way. If you ever come to Vienna, you can do a Sachertorte tasting. There's a lot of places in Vienna. Anyway, that's what that means, and it's a cute movie. And the other one, Gut gegen Nordwind, actually means it's good against the north winds. And it will only make sense when you watch the whole movie. It's a story about two people who get to know each other by mistake, basically, and they start writing emails to each other. And that's all they do for a long time, and it's very interesting how the relationship evolves. It's also it's a little deeper the story, let's put it like that, but it's a very nice movie, and it's not super fast language. It shouldn't be so hard. I suggest to start watching movies with subtitles. You can do it whenever you enjoy it. There is no wrong about it. But basically, I suggest to you when you are not a beginner but a more intermediate student. I will have, towards the end of this episode, I will have a few tips for you if you are really a beginner. I also have some tips for you. But basically, there is no right or wrong here. You can, if you enjoy it and you enjoy watching it and reading it, then go ahead. There's no harm in it, and you will learn anyway eventually. So just do what you feel good about and what you like. The only thing that I don't suggest, don't watch a German movie with no subtitles, because you will not understand anything. Probably. If you already do, then you're not going to listen to this podcast, because then you already understand German. But as long as you have subtitles and you can follow with the subtitles, go ahead and have fun and do whatever you like. There are very different kinds of things that you can watch. There will be more, or there are more, in the interactive movie guide. So definitely go to the homepage, bettergerman.info, and go to the movie guide, and there you will find more movies. But there's one last one that I suggest here. It has quite a complicated title, and it's called When Hitler Stole the Pink Rabbit. It's a movie that is taking place in the Second World War, and it's about a family that has to flee. And it is a very good movie, and it's not available for free, but it is available German, obviously, because it's a German original movie with subtitles. So let's go to the next platform, and that would be Netflix. There's quite a lot of German content on Netflix. Netflix was the first one of these platforms that started producing movies and TV shows originally in German. So you can find a lot on there that is good. My favorite suggestions are the following. First of all, there is a mini show. It's called Die Kaiserin, The Empress, the English title. In German, it's called Die Kaiserin. And it's 6 episodes, and it's based on the life of Elisabeth. It's clear and relatively accent-free German, so it will be good to follow if you are a little bit not beginner anymore, but a little bit advanced, but you don't have to be super advanced. And the audio, by the way, is also available in many languages, but obviously you need to watch it in German. However, what you can do is you could watch it first in English or Spanish or whatever your language is, and then watch it in German with the subtitles. And you have subtitles in like pretty much everything. There is subtitles in English, in French, in Ukrainian, in Chinese even. So that is a very, very, very good one, because you can just watch it Many people have Netflix. You can get Netflix probably, and you will have subtitles most probably in a language that you can understand. Ideally, put the subtitles in your native language. Then another tip I have, it's a cute movie. It's a little bit more advanced, but it's still, I want to put it on there. It's called Easy and Aussie. You'll see it in the movie guide. It's a comedy. It's a German original comedy, and I think it's a cute one. It's about a rich girl, and she gets to know a guy from a very, very different environment. And there's a lot of comedy happening out of this and what they go through and what's going on there. The language is fast, and it's some standard German, and it's also some slang, particular German slang, but you can follow with the subtitles. You'll have fun anyway. The voice track is even available in German, Italian, English, and Turkish. And subtitles are available also in many languages, not just in English, also in French, in Italian, in Hungarian, in Russian, and so on. But it is not, I would say you have to be an upper intermediate in order to do that. But if you enjoy it, go ahead and have fun for sure, even if you're not upper intermediate yet. And my last tip from Netflix is a film. It's called Friendship. It's not super easy. It's about two young men who travel to America after the Berlin Wall falls. So that's 1990. They lived in East Germany, and until the Berlin Wall fell, they couldn't leave the country. And then they could, and they were traveling to America. It is funny, but it's kind of also real. It's not easy, but anyway, I wanted to put it there. It is German, and you have subtitles. So these are my 3 favorite tips here. You can find more in the downloadable PDF, so go ahead and grab that. You can look for German original, particularly on the computer, in the Netflix computer app, or you can look for German and then you can see if it has subtitles. You can also, there's a lot of movies, like all the cartoons, you can probably turn on German voice and put on subtitles. That is something you can always do. And that's a good tip. So then let's go on Disney Plus. I don't know if you have it. Disney Plus is not as big as Netflix or Amazon, but still, it's also similar. It's a subscription, and there are a lot of, obviously, all the Disney movies. So that's something you can do on Disney Plus. You can watch all the Disney movies. If you have kids, you maybe know them. So you can watch all the Disney movies in German and put on English, French, Italian, Ukrainian, Russian subtitles. That's one of the tips. And you can even do that when you're relatively beginner, because they're not as difficult, many of them, as others. Then there is a movie. It's called Der Schlussmacher. The Schlussmacher means to break up, like to end a relationship. It's a comedy. It's a funny German comedy, and you have English subtitles there. Generally, Disney Plus doesn't have as many German shows or movies as Netflix, for example, or even Amazon. They have just recently started to add more German programs. However, there is another show that I want to mention. It's called Sam the Saxon. It's a mini show with a few episodes, and it's based on a real story of a person from Eastern Germany and his rise and fall. And that is actually quite good if you are a beginner or just starting with watching things. There are a couple of very nice documentary series that you can watch on Disney Plus with subtitles. One is Europe from Above. This is nice, slow German. You can watch this in several languages, and all of them are original because it's a different kind of TV show. It's very nice pictures of Europe for every episode, another country, and you learn a lot about the country and you see a lot from the country. It's nice, standard, slow German. And you can turn on subtitles in many different languages. And then there is another quite interesting show I want to mention here. It's called Farm Rebellion. It's not purely German, it's German and a little bit of English mixed in there, but it's actually still an original German show. Just sometimes there are people speaking English in there. And it is a documentary about a former investment banker who wants to change his life and after the financial crisis starts with a farm and is doing research as part of a team about new agricultural ways. And this is very interesting, I think. I haven't finished it myself, but I wanted to give you that information. So these are my tips for Disney Plus. There are a few more in the interactive guide, so you can get even more information there. And then I promised you some tips on something you can do when you're a total beginner, and it's also free. So I wanted to include that a little bit on YouTube. For YouTube, I have 3 tips for you. One is a movie. You will actually find it in different places on YouTube. I suggest you to take the link that is in the interactive guide because with that link, you have subtitles for many, many different languages. Another thing that is cool in YouTube, you can turn down the speed. So that's something that is very good for a beginner. You can watch a few of those things. I'm going to give you 3 tips on what to watch on YouTube. One is called Nico's Weg. It is a movie. It has part 1 and part 2. Part 1, you could start as a beginner. All of these 3 things are totally beginner friendly. So that's part 1 and part 2. They're like 90 minutes each, approximately. And it's actually a story about a guy that comes to Germany and he's learning German and his way of finding friends, finding a job, and things like that. So it's nice and it's probably relatable to you if you're learning German. And then I have 2 more tips. One is something you can do with your kids together if you like to do that. It's called Bookbox. If you Google Bookbox German, you'll find it. And it's basically children's stories, not just for children. It's cartoons, it's short stories, like a few minutes, and you will find them in German and English there. So, and you have different categories. You have friendship stories and dog stories and Christmas stories and so on. It's nice and it's not too difficult. So that's something you can even do with your kids. And then my other tip on YouTube is called Hallo Deutsch Schule. So Hallo is hello, Deutsch Schule is German school. So it is actually a Swiss channel. And they have very nice, helpful videos that you can follow. And yeah, these are my 3 favorite tips for YouTube. To sum it up, my favorite tips on Amazon are Sachertorte, Gut gegen Nordwind und Als Hitler das rosa Kaninchen stahl. You will find the links in the show notes. My favorite tips on Netflix are Die Kaiserin, die Empress, Easy und Ossi. These are just 2 names. And then Friendship. My favorite tips on Disney Plus are any of the classical Disney movies in German with English subtitles, plus Der Schlussmacher. And then finally, my favorite tips on YouTube are Bookbox, Nico's Weg und Hallo Deutschschule. All right, as I said, go to my homepage, get access to the interactive guide, and you will find links in the show notes as well. The next episode is actually an introduction on capitalization, which means which words do you write with a capital in the beginning. German is different than other languages, so this is going to give you an idea. And I'm going to give you my take on it. Is it super important or not? And why? And what do you do with it while you're learning German? Okay, so see you then and hang in there. Keep learning, have fun, and watch a lot of movies. Thank you for listening to this episode. You can find a transcript of this episode at bettergerman.info and slash and then the number of the episode. You can also sign up for a newsletter there, and then you will be informed when there is a new episode coming or any other important events going on, new articles, new freebies, or things like that. If you liked it and it was helpful for you, please share it with other people and let them know that this exists. And if you are looking for a course and you want to learn German online, then you can, of course, find all the infos as well on bettergerman.info. So, see you there and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.